Hello everyone, thank you for checking out my video today. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris. Today we're outside here in the rain. Although I have to say, now that I'm doing the video, you know how it goes, right? It's pretty much really slowed down. It's just a light drizzle right now. It was pouring before. I had the idea of let's go outside and do a video about some jackets in the rain. And of course, by the time I get out here and get the camera set up, the rain has slowed down considerably. It's still a little drizzle here, and I'm going to do the video anyway. A couple years ago, I did two videos all about Arc'teryx jackets in the rain. And today we're going to just do something a little more broad, just basic, what to wear to help keep you most dry and most comfortable, when you're outdoors in really bad, rainy, wet weather. So, of course, I'm wearing a Cortezoo mountain hard shell here, and our hard shells are going to be our best choice. Absolutely are going to give you the best protection when it comes to water, snow, wind, right? A really nice, durable jacket that's going to keep you dry. So your hard shells are always going to be your best choice for rainy conditions. Now, there's so many different kinds of hard shells available from different companies, a lot of different weights, heavier ones, lighter ones, more packable, right? Lots of different ideas. This is a 3-layer hard shell that has a Dermazax EV membrane in it, and that membrane is really what's going to keep you dry. It also has a DWR coating here on the outside, which is a durable water repellent, a durable water resistant coating, okay? Which is going to help a lot of the rain kind of bead up and just not soak into the jacket so easily. The membrane inside of it, however, is the main heart of the jacket. That's going to keep you dry. So there's all different kinds of membranes, and different companies use different types of membranes. As I said, this is a Cortezoo jacket. This uses a Dermazax EV membrane. There's Gore-Tex is very popular. Patagonia has H2No. There's all different membranes that different brands use. So it's all kinds, things that are very similar and do the same kind of job. They are, however, important in that they are breathable. So that breathability inside the jacket really helps to keep it from feeling like you're wearing a plastic bag, right? It's going to allow some of that warm moisture vapor inside the jacket from your heat buildup to escape and not make it feel wet and clammy and sweaty inside. So the more breathable the membrane is, the jacket is, the more comfortable you're going to be. As I said, all these hard shells are really going to be your best choice for keeping you dry in that, wet, rainy weather. And also, they're great for snowy conditions as well, whether you're climbing, you're skiing, anything like that. But when it comes to keeping you dry and blocking the wind, a hard shell like this is absolutely going to be your best choice. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, I wish it was raining harder so you can see how the water just beads up on these jackets. One thing that I like to do, which really helps, is as you're out there in the rain and the water is beating up all over the jacket, that if you just kind of like shake it, right? If you can just kind of shake the jacket a little bit, all that water just flies right off. And it really helps to keep it drier, right? So every once in a while, just give it a good shake and let that water all come off of the jacket, and it's going to be like dry again. And you can, have a little longer time before that water starts to seep in. So one big thing that these jackets have that really helps to keep you dry as well is that a high performance jacket, a high quality jacket, is going to have what's called taped seams. So all the seams in the jacket, where the material is basically stitched together, that's going to be the weakest point where water can enter, into the jacket through that seam. So these really nice pieces have taped seams, which means that inside the jacket, on the inside of the seam, they have a tape that seals that seam to keep the water from getting through. So it's just an extra protection. It's a really nice thing to look for if you're looking for a waterproof jacket that has taped seams. The other thing with some of these jackets to look for is that the zippers are waterproof. So a popular zipper is the YKK Aqua Guard. That's a really popular zipper here. It actually kind of has like a rubbery kind of glossy look and feel to it. And when it zips up, it forms a watertight seal. So, for the pockets, for the main zippers, if it has pit zips, things like that, having waterproof zippers are a really nice addition, again, to help seal out any of that water. Now, some jackets may not have a waterproof front zipper, but what they might have is a waterproof, or a flap that comes over the zipper and either, just sticks with Velcro or something on the outside, just to help cover that zipper and keep it away from the weather. That works well too. So, different companies have different designs and do different things. All right? But this is basically, just an explanation of why a hard shell is so great in the rain. Now I want to put on another jacket here. This is a 3-layer hard shell, which is like a top-of-the-line kind of hard shell. 3 layers basically says it has an outer face fabric. The second layer is the actual membrane, and the third layer is a backing on the inside of the jacket between you and the membrane. That helps as well with some breathability and comfort overall inside the jacket. So it's definitely something to take a look at. Now I want to show you not so much, it's a hard shell, but it's more of a rain jacket, just a casual multi-purpose rain jacket rather than a hard shell like this. It's going to give you a cheaper option, a lighter option, a more packable option. So let me go through that on, and we'll talk about that one next. Okay, so this is the Mountain Equipment Xeno jacket. So basically what this is, like I said, it's a very lightweight rain jacket. It's going to be a much lighter material. Still tough, it's still a nice durable jacket, but it's much lighter. It's much more packable, so if you want to throw it in your backpack, something like this is probably a little better option for everyday use, whether you're around town or just hiking, something like that. Not a great jacket for climbing, not a great jacket for skiing. I mean, it can be used for those things, but there are better options, okay? Just a general purpose rain jacket. So this is definitely lighter weight. It's really going to be very waterproof as well. Definitely, has a nice membrane. This Mountain Equipment jacket actually uses a membrane that Mountain Equipment has developed, and it's called drier. Again, each company has their own kind of different membranes that they use. But basically, this is just a multi-purpose rain jacket. So I like wearing this just around town. I coach volleyball at a high school, and sometimes we have a match. A lot of times we have a match in the spring, and it's a rainy day. This is the jacket I take with me. It's just really nice, easy, comfortable jacket. Now this is a 2.5 layer jacket instead of a 3-layer jacket like the last hard shell that I showed you. So 2.5 layers kind of sounds funny, but basically what it is it's an outer layer, an outer fabric that has a DWR coating. There's the dry light membrane is the second layer, but instead of having a layer backing on the inside of this jacket, it basically just has a coating, sometimes like a spray-on coating, on the inside rather than a full fabric material. So it's a little less breathable, honestly, than the 3-layer jacket is, but it's a much cheaper option. So this jacket, since it's a little less breathable, you may feel a little more sweaty or wet, clammy inside. However, this jacket has a lot of nice features that help to alleviate that, like pit zips, right, which are really great for venting. And it also has 2 nice pockets here that have like a mesh lining on the inside. So if the pockets are opened, you can dump some heat as well. The pit zips are pretty good for dumping hot air, even in the rain, because they're kind of protected. And in my experience, I haven't gotten a lot of water inside of them if they're open. Now, if you're out in a pouring, soaking rain, chances are you don't want anything open. You don't want your pockets open. You don't want your pit zips open, anything like that. But, there's times when you can open it up and just vent some of that hot air and definitely stay more comfortable. Okay, so yeah, this is another option, a cheaper option, and nice. So there's a lot of companies that make things similar to this. Helly Hansen has several different rain jackets. Patagonia makes several different just general purpose rain jackets, as well as Rab. Arc'teryx makes a little more expensive stuff because they are using Gore-Tex membranes in their jackets, so they are a little more expensive. But I have several reviews here on some Patagonia and Helly Hansen jackets that are similar to this that are really great. Okay, so let's get into something else. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. This is a Helly Hansen jacket. It's actually a jacket designed more for sailing and crew. This is the Helly Hansen Crew mid-layer 2.0 jacket. So this actually has a fleece insulation layer inside this jacket, but they also make another version of this that does not have the fleece inside of it. It is simply just the shell on the outside. This is a really great multi-purpose jacket, not just for sailing, but for all kinds of use. I love this jacket around town as well. As I said with my last mountain equipment jacket, I wear that on rainy days, to some of my volleyball matches and stuff. This jacket I wear also on days that are a little bit colder, right? When I just need a little more warmth and I don't need to wear a fleece or something underneath it, I can just wear this jacket. It gives me a little extra warmth. But a really nice jacket here from Helly Hansen. Now this uses their own membrane called Helitech. So this is actually just as waterproof and windproof as just about anything else. Now there are different levels in a membrane's ability to be waterproof and windproof. Mostly waterproof and breathability are the 2 factors that can really fluctuate a little bit when it comes to how well the membrane performs. Now, if you spend more money on a Gore-Tex Pro jacket, yes, that is going to give you more breathability and more waterproof protection than a cheaper jacket such as this one with just a Helitech membrane. Now, Helly Hansen also makes 3 different levels of the Helitech membranes. So this one here is just the basic membrane, and it's a good jacket. You're not going to get wet in this thing too quickly. If you're out in a soaking downpour for a long period of time, perhaps the Helitech Professional membrane would be a little bit better choice. But don't get me wrong, this is a waterproof jacket. This is going to keep you pretty dry. So it's going to take a lot for it to really soak through before you get wet. Now, all these jackets, as I mentioned before, have what's called a DWR coating. It's a durable, water-resistant coating here on the outer face fabric that allows the water to basically bead up and run off the jacket. Now, some of these hard coatings eventually can wear off and wear out. So they can be reapplied at home. When you wash the jackets, there are sprays available that you can get to reapply that DWR coating. So you simply wash the jacket, take it out of the washing machine while it's still, damp and wet, spray it, hang it up, spray it down with this DWR coating spray, and then throw it in the dryer. And, just follow the directions for the garment when it comes to washing and drying. But throw it in the dryer, and when you take it out, it should be a much more water-resistant product. So it should, definitely reapply that DWR coating that keeps it all protected. So, yeah, okay. So this is just another option. Really nice jacket. It's actually kind of pretty dressy. It's a nice jacket. I've worn this, out to dinner and stuff when I go out with my friends, and it's a really nice little jacket. So, okay, I'll show you the next thing. Okay, so next up here we have the Mountain Equipment Aerotherm jacket. This is basically just a lightweight jacket that has a nice soft fleece lining on the inside. This is a great jacket for like hiking, even trail running, things like that. I wanted to bring this out because this is just a basic lightweight jacket. Now, it's not a waterproof jacket, okay? It's not a hard shell, of any sort. It doesn't have a waterproof membrane in it. It's just a typical jacket, like any other maybe just insulated jacket that has maybe like a nylon kind of outer face fabric here with a DWR coating. So obviously this is not going to be your best choice in heavy rain. However, with the DWR coating here on the outside, it certainly will give you enough protection in light rain, a little sprinkle here and there, that the water again will kind of bead up, and you can, simply just kind of shake it off the jacket, and stay relatively dry. Now, eventually, in a downpour, yes, you will get wet through this. It will soak through. But that DWR coating will help give you some protection anyway, just in case. So, light rain, light drizzle, something like this is not going to be a problem. It will keep you dry for a decent amount of time. But eventually you will see that the rain will start soaking into the material. If it, really gets wet, really gets saturated, it's a heavy downpour. But I wanted to talk to you about something like this too, just simply because it's a very basic, common type of jacket. And, a large majority of just the insulated jackets that you'll purchase, you can buy out there, have a similar kind of nylon outer face fabric with a DWR coating. So kind of gives you just a basic idea of what to expect if you're just wearing a jacket like this. Now, I will have to say that jackets for outdoor use, such as this one, with a DWR coating are going to be significantly better than any, just jacket you may buy at the mall, okay? Those fabrics are going to soak in the rain much quicker. So, the DWR coating on it certainly does help. Okay, this is an interesting piece I wanted to tell you about. This is the Ortovox Piz Boy hooded jacket. Now, this is basically a lightweight insulated jacket that has a Swiss wool insulation inside of it. Now, kind of what's unique with this jacket is it does have that kind of nylon-y, kind of material, with a DWR coating. However, underneath the arms here, you might see here on the back, in the back panel around my arms, there is basically a breathable panel of merino wool. So what that's going to do is it allows extra breathability into the jacket there. Now, many jackets do have fleece panels built into them, such as this one. However, a lot of those fleece panels soak up the water. So, just in an example, the Arc'teryx Atom LT and the Arc'teryx Atom SL, they have a fleece panel that comes down from here and it goes all the way down the side of the jacket. The rest of the jacket has that nylon material with the DWR. Now, what I found with that is the water will run off of the jacket fairly well, but once the water runs and drips down onto that fleece panel, it just soaks up the water, okay? So the fleece panels can tend to get wet much easier and soak up that water much easier than the outer face fabric does. This jacket, however, really surprised me because I actually did a little test on it where I went in my kitchen sink and I turned on the water faucet, just moderate water, and I put it over the jacket and it was running right off the jacket, so the DWR was working great. Then I put the water on top of the merino wool panel here, and it still ran off of it. So even the merino wool panel here has that DWR coating on it, and it's just a hard face enough panel here that the water can be repelled off of it. So that was a really nice feature with this jacket that I was really surprised with, happy with, because like I said, normally the water would run off of the jacket, hit that panel, and just soak in. Here it actually continues to run off of the panel. So this is I've had this jacket now for a few months, so it's still pretty new. How that will last over time, we'll have to see. But right now, I was actually pretty surprised to see how the water ran off of this. Now, just as another side note while we're talking about all this stuff here today, Gore-Tex also makes a windstopper fabric called Infinium. In my own personal experience with it, it says, in the books that it is windproof and waterproof. However, I have found that the Gore-Tex Infinium is nowhere near as waterproof as the normal Gore-Tex membrane is. It's a great windstopper, but it just does not seem to repel water as well as a normal Gore-Tex membrane. So if you're buying a Gore-Tex Infinium jacket, buy it for the wind more so than for its water repellency. It's not terrible. It does help resist some rain, but in a soaking downpour, I have just found, at least in my pieces that I own, that the Gore-Tex Infinium will wet through much quicker than a normal Gore-Tex hardshell jacket will. Okay, so just a little side note there. Just something I learned I want to share with you and hopefully help you out with that a little bit and maybe, help you to not run into the same situations that I have. Okay? All right, I have one last thing to show you. Okay, so the last piece here that I want to show you today is kind of interesting too. This is the Norna Helaflex 200. This is a fleece jacket. Now this fleece actually has what they call a hard face on the outside. This actually is a really nice addition because most fleece jackets, as I was saying before, soak up the water like a sponge, okay? So once in a while, if you're outside wearing a fleece and you get a little drizzle, you get a little light rain, you really need to have some kind of another shell or jacket on top of it, because you're gonna get wet. It's just gonna soak in that water. This jacket, like some others, there are other jackets on the market. Just on top of my head, Helly Hansen makes the Odin Pro Shield jacket. That one as well is a fleece similar to this with this hard face coating. I have an older Arc'teryx Fortress hoodie that has that hard face kind of coating on the outside. It really does provide some nice water resistance. So it's not going to be waterproof, okay, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it is going to provide you some protection in a light rain. The water will beat up on this and run off, even though it is a fleece. Inside this jacket is a really nice, warm, soft fleece. So it's a really good option if you're wearing something like this and it's going to be damp, drizzly weather. Always have some kind of a shell with you. I would not rely on this alone, but this definitely does offer you some extra wind water protection, both, over a typical fleece. Now, there are also fleeces that not only have this hard face, but there are fleeces that have what's called a slick face. It's kind of more of a shiny, soft, silky kind of outer feel on the fabric. Those I have found are not really going to be very water resistant at all. I wouldn't even say they're going to be much more water resistant than just a normal typical fleece. But these hard face fleeces definitely will give you some protection. So another, something different to add. Again, I wish it was actually raining harder here now, that I could actually show you the water beating up on here, but I do have a couple little waters, raindrops on here that are just sitting right on the surface of the jacket. Again, right, just a nice little shake and it all should just come right off. So I definitely would encourage shaking your jacket once in a while when you can, when it gets really wet, for that water to fly off, rather than rubbing it, okay? You don't want to rub it off, because then you're actually kind of pushing the water into the material more, and it will tend to wet out faster. So if you can just kind of, shake the jacket, just shake it any way you can, your hood, just shake your hood off, the water will just fly off of it, and you will stay drier longer. Okay? All right, so I think that pretty much gives you a good idea here today for this video of some rain. It's my luck here. It's been pouring here all morning, and when I finally go to set up my camera and shoot this video for you, the rain is going to slow down. And when I go inside, it'll start pouring again, right? But anyway, I can still tell you what I wanted to tell you and talk about, your different options for the rain. All right, so thank you very much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video and it helped you out. If it did, please hit the little thumbs up, the like button. I really appreciate all your support with that. And I also have a Buy Me a Coffee page. So if you're interested in supporting me a little bit more, if you appreciate what I do have a bunch of extra stuff on there as well you might want to check out. And I also have a website called meandmyjackets.com, where we talk about what to wear when we're outdoors, doing all those adventures like hiking, trekking, climbing, skiing, snowboarding, camping, fishing, and even sailing. So lots of cool stuff to check out. A ton of videos here on the channel. Please take some time, take a look around. Thank you very much for your support. We'll see you back soon. Maybe on a sunny day next time. Take care. Bye.